You don't need permission. Just walk. Ethan grew up in a small village tucked beside a gentle river, where everything moved slowly, where no one dared to act without approval. There you waited. For a nod. For a blessing. For someone to say, "Now you may." As a boy, Ethan lived within invisible fences. If you want to do that, ask your father first. If you dream of that, wait until you're older. Don't draw too much attention. People won't like it. And like most children in that village, Ethan bowed his head and obeyed. Until one day something small happened. A tired old merchant stopped by, a man with a torn satchel and stories in his eyes. While chatting with a few locals, he turned to Ethan and smiled. No one will give you permission to become what you're meant to be. If you wait for it, you'll wait your whole life. That sentence lodged itself into Ethan's mind like a splinter. It didn't scream. It whispered. But it burned. From that day on, Ethan began to see the world differently. He saw his uncle, once full of dreams, spend his life working for others, never opening his own forge. He saw his childhood friend who wanted to become a healer, give up because girls don't do that here. He saw his own father, once passionate about books, shrink into silence because no one in this family has ever gone beyond the village. They were all waiting. Waiting for something, someone, to say, "You have my blessing." But no one ever came. One afternoon, while cleaning up the local market stalls, Ethan stumbled upon an old book left on a wooden bench. Its pages were yellowed, the corners bent. No fancy cover. No illustrations. Just words, quotes and reflections, from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca and Epictetus. He read. He didn't understand everything. But something in those pages felt real. As if someone had finally put into words what he had always felt but never dared to believe. A single sentence haunted him for weeks. Don't ask for permission to live rightly. Just live rightly. The world he had known, the one ruled by expectations, fear, and the eyes of others, suddenly felt suffocating. Stoicism didn't teach him how to be accepted. It taught him how to accept himself. Not long after, Ethan made a decision. He would leave the village. People laughed. Another kid off to chase dreams. With what? No skills, no money? He'll be back like the rest of them. But Ethan wasn't leaving to be welcomed. He was leaving because he finally understood. If he didn't walk away now, he'd die slowly in a life others had built for him. In his satchel was that worn-out book, a few coins and some dry bread. But in his chest there was fire. For the first time in his life, he wasn't waiting to be allowed to live. He just lived. The first steps. City life was harsh. Ethan slept under bridges, washed dishes, swept floors, anything that earned enough for a meal. There were nights when the cold soaked through his coat, when hunger gnawed at his resolve. He almost turned back. But he'd open the book, flip to the marked page and read. If something is within your control, do it. If not, let it go. Epictetus. He kept a journal. Not to complain but to anchor himself. I chose this path. I never asked for ease. I asked for truth, and I will not betray that choice. Eventually, kindness found him. A stranger offered him work at a small bookstore cafe. He read more. He learned more. Each book laid another brick in the foundation of his soul. Some called him lucky. But he knew better. This wasn't luck. This was the reward for stepping without permission. Freedom is giving yourself permission. 3 years later, Ethan was no longer the hesitant village boy. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't famous. But he had something rare, inner freedom. Ethan began hosting free talks at the local library. He shared his story with young people who felt stuck, confused, afraid. He said, "We're taught to wait. Wait your turn. Wait until you're ready. Wait until others say it's okay. But if I had waited, I'd still be in that village, dreaming and dying inside." I learned from the Stoics. No one lives your life but you. No one knows your soul like you do. And only you can say, "Now is the time." One boy asked, "So how do I know I'm ready?" Ethan smiled. "You don't need to be ready. You need to be honest. If your heart says, go, then trust it. Readiness will meet you on the road." Stoicism is a way of walking. Ethan never treated philosophy as theory. To him, Stoicism was how you stay upright when the world tilts. How you say, "I can't control everything but I can control how I walk through it." He taught poor kids how to write Stoic journals. Each day, one thing within their control. One thing they must release. He taught them how to pause before reacting. How to separate emotion from judgment. How to recognize that silence isn't weakness, it's often the greatest strength. The final message. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you've been waiting for permission, remember, they won't live your life for you. If you've been wondering whether you're allowed, the answer is yes. Not because someone said so, but because you say so. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So think noble ones." And I, like Ethan, am here to tell you, don't wait. Don't look around for approval. Don't wait for your family to understand or the world to cheer. You don't need permission to step into the world. Just step. Now.